The research topic for our group is influences of different social backgrounds upon the equality of higher education. Today, as a group member, I will make a presentation about Part 1, Introduction. For this part, it covers 5 aspects: research background, problem statement, research question, significance of research, research subject, and method. For research background, since the world entering into a new century, equality of global education has been progressing step by step, particularly in resolving the admission issues of school-aged children around the world. For all that, problems of poverty, gap, sexism, racism, as well as armed conflict under the influences of different social backgrounds are still growing. According to the statistics given by the UNESCO, only 1% adults aging between 25 to 29 in the poorest group of people have finished the four-year higher education, while in the richest group, such percentage rose to 20%. In addition, more than 2/3 of countries in the world have not set any goals to promote education equality according to the global higher education equity policy around the world. For the problem statement, problem 1, the differences of social backgrounds, the poverty gap restrict educational equality between countries, societies, and individuals, leading in imbalance and inequity in educational opportunities, education process, and results. It is urgent to discuss this issue in order to remove the main obstacles to current educational equality. Problem 2, according to the document study, previous and present study on educational equality is on the 3 dimensions: opportunity, progress, and results. Study on equality of higher education has just embarked on without arousing too much attention. With respect to problems mentioned above, research questions for enclosed 2. First one, how do different social backgrounds influence equality of higher education? Question 2, what motivates imbalance and inequality of higher education under the influences of different social backgrounds? And for the significance of research, firstly, it is able to enrich and perfect the research on equality of higher education. Secondly, to expand the sociological perspective study on equality of higher education. Thirdly, it is to provide realistic basis for facilitating equality of global higher education. And lastly, to deepen the reform and development of higher education. And for the research subject and method. For the subject, it includes 2. The first one, global equality of higher education at the macro level, and second, families and individuals in developing countries who received higher education at the micro level. And for the methods, the document study, interdisciplinary research, mathematical statistics, and as well as the field investigation, all will be applied in our research. Okay, well, that's my presentation about the first part.
There are 3 objectives. Number 1, to analyze a correlation between social backgrounds and higher education. Number 2, to eliminate an adverse effect of different social backgrounds on the equality of higher education. And number 3, to put forward some effective ways for promoting the equality of higher education. Next, I will turn to procedures of research. At the beginning, the study explores the correlation between social backgrounds and higher education from the perspective of sociology, and then projects a questionnaire designed to find out reasons for the equality of higher education. For the questionnaire, it takes parents' education background, parents' career, and parents' income into consideration for exploring their influences on the quality of higher education. Then the data of this questionnaire will be analyzed through the chi-square test of SPSS statistics. And according to the analysis of this questionnaire, we can conclude there are 3 effective ways for promoting the equality of higher education. The first one is equality of opportunities in higher education, with an emphasis on closing the gap between different social backgrounds. The second one is equality of process in higher education, with an emphasis on ensuring fair competition in the innovation of scientific research. And the third one is equality of outcome in higher education, with an emphasis on offering enterprises subsidies to employ more graduates. Finally, let me show you the highlights of research. The key point of this study is about influences of different social backgrounds upon the quality of higher education. The difficult point of the study is the application of statistical and mathematical methods. And the originality of the study is through the combination of theory and practice to focus on the quality of higher education. Well, that's all about the second part. Thanks for your attention.
Come to the third part, that is a part 3, which can be divided into two very important points. These are research conclusion and suggestions and prospects. Let's come to the first part, that is a research conclusion. The research conclusions covers the following 4 conclusions. The first one, the social class difference in the gap between the rich and the poor limit the educational equity among the state, society, and individuals, which can be seen from the following picture. What's the number 2? Equity in higher education. Equity in higher education includes that in educational opportunity, in educational process, and educational outcome. While equity in higher education also related to 3 dimensions of social class. These are culture, occupation, and economy as well. These may be based on the family education level, the parents' occupation, and their family income. And number 3, and they are also very concerned about that there are still some qualitative differences in access to higher education and the process of receiving higher education, as well as the results of completing higher education among families of different classes. Furthermore, we have found that after the demand of quantity of education is satisfied, the superior class will seek demand of quality education, and the education evolution among the superior class in this time will appear, and in turn that will affect the demand of inferior class for quantity of education to some extent. Number 4, internal influence mechanisms of social class differences on higher education equity. This one may cover the following 6 aspects. Number 1, the cultural interference of family education concept. Number 2, the capital restriction on family economic income. Number 3, the social pressure of the parents' professional status. And the next one is the difference of daily life practice to children's higher education process infiltration. And also we have the objective addition of family resource utilization and the positive influence of family reputation powers. Now let's come to the next part, that is the suggestions and prospects. The first one, we have found the suggestions for development, which can be seen from the following 4 aspects. The suggestions to promote the equality of higher education opportunities, the impact of social class differences on access to education, and narrow the social class differences as well as optimize the structure of the education system. And also we have suggestions to promote the fairness of higher education process. These include fair education and fairness of the learning process of knowledge and skills, the fair competition in innovative research, perfecting social practice teaching method, and optimize the criteria for the awards and process. While the last one is about our suggestions to promote the equality of outcome in higher education, which include the creating fair environment for students, and strict elimination of discrimination in college employment chain, innovate business format so as to meet the needs of different professionals, and also implement financial subsidies to encourage enterprises to enroll our fresh graduates. And the last one is our research prospects, which can be divided into the 4 aspects. The first one, the qualitative differences and a realistic representation of higher education fairness between superior class and inferior class. And also we have the impact study of specific area of quality of opportunity, process, and income in higher education. And also we have to further expand the research scale and extend research objects to developed countries to further clarify the mechanism of social stratification factors on equality in higher education. So that is the research conclusion and the prospects. And the last 4 slides is mainly references for this dissertation. Thank you for your patience.